I think today Donald Trump is going to sign an executive order banning black people from halftime. Because when I saw Samuel L. Jackson dressed as a black Uncle Sam introducing Kendrick Lamar, all the black people on my feed were like, ooh, this is blackity black black. And all the racists who somehow get in, man, were they hopping mad.
You are really dumb, for real.
What's up, everybody? It's your girl Mika, and we're back for another Red Cup Talks because this is where truth, pop culture, and politics meet. So I wanted to come on today and talk about what happened over the weekend. The Super Bowl happened, and yes, my Commanders, aka the Redskins, were not in it. But the Eagles that defeated us defeated Kansas City, so I'm fine with that. However, the real talk of the town was Donald Trump. The crowd erupted into screams and roars like you really heard that the American people love this president. However, the mainstream media, you know, the usual suspects, CNN, MSNBC, the Golden Girls at The View, they all had something to say about it. I want you guys to go ahead and see what the mainstream media, preferably the Golden Girls at The View, had to say about Donald Trump and the Super Bowl, and even what he didn't say about the halftime show. Watch this.
I think today Donald Trump is going to sign an executive order banning black people from halftime. Because you remember last week we were talking about whether the NFL was capitulating to Trump by removing the term "end racism" from the end zone. Boy, did they not capitulate to Trump. When I saw Samuel L. Jackson dressed as a black Uncle Sam introducing Kendrick Lamar, who then had like an entire formation of all black people making a U.S. flag. Listen, this much I know. All the black people on my feed were like, ooh, this is blackity black black. And all the racists who somehow get in, man, were they hopping mad. So if the racists are mad, I am happy as a clam.
Anna has to be one of the dumbest people ever, is because Anna sits here talking about Donald Trump is going to ban black people from halftime Super Bowls. Why would he do that? Like, what was wrong with a black Uncle Sam? What was wrong with black people making an American flag? If anything, it was more patriotic. You're like, it's blackity black, black, black. Now, you cannot like, you know, the song choice and everything, but really everybody was just there to see if he was going to say, you know, A minor to Drake. Like, I'm not understanding. And what did he do that was, you know, against Donald Trump? Like, I'm not understanding. They will make a mountain out of a molehill. All right. They will put anything above their Trump derangement just to try to make something up. Donald Trump didn't have anything bad to say about Samuel Jackson or Kendrick Lamar. Like, the nerve of loosely putting that lady.
I thoroughly enjoyed it because I did predict that the Eagles would win, as can be seen by my gloating outfit today. My subtle jacket. I agree with Anna. I mean, with all these attacks on diversity, all these attacks on African Americans, it was so nice to see Black excellence and joy in front of the sitting president who decided for the first time to go to the Super Bowl. New Orleans.
I don't think he's ever going back.
I don't think he's going back. New Orleans, of course, is a predominantly black city, very close to my heart, 55% black. Then you have Kendrick Lamar. A lot of people said they didn't understand his performance. Guys, he's an award-winning, a Pulitzer Prize-winning musician and poet. Okay, so it was a many-layered performance. You've got Serena Williams crip walking. What I also really enjoyed about Kendrick's performance is it was performance art. If you really looked at it, it was multi-layered. Yes, he had people dressed in red, white, and blue, the colors of the flag, but he also had those people, he was standing in front of them because he's explaining that this is a divided country at this point. He also has them leaning to the side because this country was built on the backs of black people.
Like, Sonny, stop. You're not black. You're not black. You're not black. You are Puerto Rican. You are Boricua, but you are not black. Okay? You are not black. Stop it. And on top of that, your mom pretended to be a black person. She's a white liberal woman. And all of a sudden, Cloudy Host in here thinks she can just jump in the black community because she's a Latino, okay? And because she has a little tint to her. Tint does not make you black. It just makes you brown, ma'am.
Speaking of hate, How have we not talked about Drake? I don't know if Patrick Mahomes or Drake is having a worse morning today, but that halftime show ended him. Like, I was texting my mom trying to explain the Kendrick Lamar beef and Drake, and she didn't totally get it, but I think she's like Googling and getting up to speed today. It was perfect. Like, the subtlety and lack of subtlety, I really appreciated.
Yeah.
But my actual favorites, I don't follow football that much. So it's more that it's just this cultural moment and that it's hosted in New Orleans, that they had just kind of the jazzy rendition of America the Beautiful with two Louisiana natives, Trombone Shorty and Lauren Daigle. I thought this was so good, just beautiful. And then Lady Gaga performing on Bourbon Street before the show was just like perfect. And after everything the city's been through with the terrorist attack, I thought it was just like a beautiful moment. Finally, as a non-sports person, it was such a blowout by that last interception, and I think it was the third quarter. I wanted to be like, just give the Chiefs the ball. Like, just stop. It's just not fair. Like, let them make a point or whatever.
Little League. They ran the score. We're going to stop here.
Now, continuing with the Trump derangement, racism, all that good talk, misogyny that the Golden Girls like to talk about. The Golden Girls decided to talk about what happened at the halftime show, which was Serena Williams crip walking in a performance with Kendrick. Now, we all know the song They're Not Like Us is about Drake, okay? And it is a diss song. And we all know that Serena Williams used to date Drake. However, the Golden Girls had a different take on it because Stephen A. decided to weigh in, and you know they don't like misogyny. Watch this.
Serena Williams had a lot of people cheering her halftime show during the Crip Walk during Kendrick Lamar's song Not Like Us, a diss track aimed at somebody's ex-boyfriend. But ESPN's Stephen A. Smith was not a fan of it. Take a look.
If I'm married and my wife is going to join trolling her ex, go back to his ass. Because clearly you don't belong with me. What you worried about him for and you with me?
I gotta get that league back.
Bye.
What is he?
Wow.
My husband would be the one cheering me on the loudest.
Because your husband is a step.
I think it says more about the security of the man in the marriage than it would about that, because even her husband was like, pretty fantastic halftime show. Like, it was awesome. Like,
Why wasn't it, damn, Serena was great?
yeah.
Why is it about some ex-boyfriend she hasn't?
Because the song, see, this is why I tell you, this is where truth, pop culture, and politics meet. Because these ladies don't know anything about pop culture, all right? When you get to your golden age, you know, the young conversation, you really should stay away from. Drake used to date Serena. Kendrick doesn't like Drake. They're both in a performance together, which equals pettiness of we don't like Drake. That is the reason why everybody is talking about that. The Golden Girls don't know that because they're out of touch, like they are with everything, politics, pop music, out of touch.
And I'm surprised that Stephen A. Smith actually missed the moment.
He's a provocateur.
Yes,
I love him.
This was Serena crip walking was really about what happened to her when she did the same crip walk after she beat Sharapova in the 2012 Olympics. She did that crip walk then, and it was on Wimbledon grass, and everyone said that it was disrespectful. So for Serena, because she was dancing. So she was doing a crip walk, which is
Disrespectful to who? The grass?
it was disrespectful. They actually, she took a lot of criticism for doing that.
Really?
And so when you look at Serena's comments, what she was doing was being her authentic self, an homage to her roots from Compton, and it was Black joy and Black excellence. You've got the greatest female athlete of all time coming
all
out
you can think
and
of
enjoying
is her
herself.
ex-boyfriend.
Yeah, it wasn't about Drake at all.
Yes, it could. I highly doubt that was the reason, but it could be what Cloudy Holston is talking about. However, we all know the history, and I'm going to put two and two together on a song that is about Drake, somebody she dated. And then on top of that, you ladies, I use it loosely, know that if this had been a man still talking about his ex, you guys would be outraged. But you have Trump derangement. You are misandrous. You know, that's the opposite of misogynist. And you are just, frankly, dumb.
My honest 2 cents, and I absolutely love her. I think she's an inspiration to so many women. I was like, oh, okay, she's been married since like my husband and I got together. Why would she care to, you know, get in on this like dissing Drake thing? But then I dug deeper. Drake's been coming at her in songs and her marriage for years. Like he's taken digs at her husband, the founder of Reddit. But my point being, it's not, I don't even know that it counts as petty when somebody's been deeply petty to you and you're just clapping back.
It took the white woman on the panel, okay, the younger white woman on the panel, to actually figure that out. It is about Drake. The song is about Drake. These ladies don't know what they're talking about. They're out of touch. All right. The Golden Girls should stick to golden issues, you know, like Joe Biden and Kamala. You should stick to those issues, right? Or maybe even oldie but goodies. You should stick to those issues, you know, Otis Redding. I don't know. Something in that vein. Elvis, you need to stick to that, because the pop culture of today, you're out of touch on. The politics of today, you're out of touch on. And frankly, half of the time, you're just wrong. So yeah, stick to that. And you probably would do better in ratings. All right, so you just saw the Trump deranged ladies at The View and all their antics and nonsense about racism at the Super Bowl, at the halftime show, and even everything on Serena Williams and misogyny and all of that, right? They're just Trump deranged, they're misandrous, they're just out of touch, right? However, I also wanted to show you how much the nation really loves Donald Trump, right? His approval ratings are up. But before we get to that, I wanted to show you how much love he got at the Super Bowl. Here we go.
Through the perilous fight, o'er the ramparts we watch.
All right, so you guys just saw that. You saw Donald Trump get all the yells and hoops and holler when they showed him on the big screen there at the Super Bowl while the national anthem was going. And when I tell you it was beautiful, it was beautiful. You had players crying. You had all types of things going on while Donald Trump was being shown. When I tell you we are a united nation, right? We have problems, but we are getting better. And everyone is rallying around Trump, except the mainstream media. They don't seem to get it. I want you guys to see what CNN had to come and realize, that Donald Trump's approval ratings, in the words of pop culture, they're all the way up.
It's been 21 days now since President Trump took office, wasting no time issuing sweeping orders to dramatically reshape the federal government. This is a much more organized and effective start to his second term as compared to his first. CNN senior data reporter Harry Enton joining us now to run the numbers. Harry, hello. Good to see you.
Hello.
We're getting some new information about how Americans view President Trump's, how he's doing his job.
Yeah, so, you know, CBS News, YouGov came out with a poll earlier today that had him on the positive side of the ledger, and I decided to average all the polls. And you know what? The average of the polls also has him on the positive side of the ledger. All right, let's take a look. Trump's net approval rating on February 9th. Look at this. In 2025, he's at plus 4 points. Look where he was in 2017, his first term at this point. He was at minus 5 points. So he's doing nearly 10 points better on the average. And more than that, as I mentioned, it's not just the CBS News poll. It's the Ipsos poll. It's the Gallup poll. It's the Pew poll. All of these polls have him in better shape than those respective polls had him at this point back in 2017. So the bottom line is, no matter where you look, Donald Trump is more popular than he was 8 years ago at this point in his first term. And he's on the positive side of the ledger versus the negative side of the 0 point line as he was back in 2017. Simply put, Americans like the job that Donald Trump is doing significantly more this time around than they did in his first term, when he just had 11 days in which he had a positive net approval rating compared to already nearly 3 weeks so far, Jessica.
Oh, Jessica can't believe it. She's trying to figure out, why does Donald Trump have these things? Like, why does he have this high approval rating? We have been terrorizing our audience with all this Trump derangement. He should not have an approval rating this high. Like, we are a liberal network and we're saying that he has a high rating. Yes, ma'am. Donald Trump has a high rating.
So break this down then. Why, do you have any idea why more Americans are approving of his job, of the way he's doing his job this time around?
Yeah, you know, of course, Donald Trump won the 2016 election. He won the 2024 election. But when you went into his first term, there were a lot of folks who simply put did not think that Donald Trump was doing what he promised back in April of 2017, which is 46%. Compare that to 70% so far So a big reason why Donald Trump is significantly more popular now than he was at this point in his first term is because, simply put, the American people believe he is fulfilling his campaign promises in a way that they did not believe he was doing, believed he was getting off on the wrong track back in 2017. They believe he's following his campaign promises this time around. And that is, I believe, a big reason why so many more Americans are approving of the job that he's doing compared to his first term at this point.
All right, so you guys just saw all of that. Here are my thoughts. Let's pour it up. Donald Trump attended the Super Bowl because he is a president of the people. This is America's greatest pastime now, and we want to see one of our greatest presidents, Donald Trump. The mainstream media will tell you that he isn't popular, that they don't like his policies, that they really don't like him. Hell, they even tell you that Trump voters are not approving of what he's doing. The Golden Girls will tell you they didn't really think he was going to do what he said he was going to do with getting out illegal immigrants. They'll tell you we don't like Elon Musk. They'll tell you we think that he's doing too much with overriding the Congress, which he's not doing. The mainstream media will tell you a lot. But when you looked at the Super Bowl, you saw the American people cheering. You did not hear booing, except for when it came up with Taylor Swift. However, you did not hear booing when it came to Donald Trump. And that's because he is loved by the American people. And then when it came to the national anthem and the halftime show, Donald Trump had no problem with either. He did not say anything about anything that went on. So I'm trying to figure out what Anna and the Golden Girls are actually talking about, okay? Cloudy Hostin over there is just making up things. The mainstream media keeps making up things to try to make Trump seem so bad, but it's not working. The numbers show that he's up, all the way up. 70% of the people approve of what he's doing right now because he's doing what he said he was going to do. And that's because men lie, women lie, numbers don't. You guys get down in the comments and let me know what you thought about the whole Super Bowl and Donald Trump. And then what you think about The View here talking about, hey, Donald Trump is going to get rid of, black people performing at the Super Bowl during halftime because it's blackity black, black, black. Like, you cannot like the performance, but I don't think anybody think it's black, blackity black. They just didn't like it. It is what it is. And also let me know what you thought about them getting mad at Stephen A. Smith because he said he didn't want his wife having anything to do with something that involves their ex. Like, why is that a thing? Like, you ladies just don't get it. The mainstream media doesn't get it. And that's why Trump is all the way up. You guys get down in the comments, like, comment, and subscribe. It's your girl, Mika, and I'm out. Peace.